kitchen.
When else come to talk about the viaduct?
Allegedly.
No, he's got another meeting. The viaducts, was that like 88?
So he's not coming tonight?
Viaducts was the last
He's
viaduct?
not coming.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those hearings.
God. Quinnell's bailing.
Maybe, huh?
Quinnell's going to bail.
Is that what it's going to be
That's
on?
what Kevin said. He's got a different meeting or something?
Yeah, well, he should be late.
Is it gonna be on all those?
We still think he might come on.
Black Star started a podcast. He's going on their show.
God damn it.
Sons of bitches. God damn it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't even have the script.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I assume Ed did that. Is that your handiwork, Ed? The
Give me that script, Johnny.
mic check, mic check.
Script I gave you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mic check. Mic check. Checking my mic. Checking my mic.
What about
Checking my
mine?
mic. It's on.
Yeah, does he have a script?
No, this is the only one.
You think he's going to give me a script?
Shit, yeah.
He
No
didn't give
kidding.
me shit, this guy. How about my mic? Is it?
The viaduct is
Hello?
on first. We're going to wait in case Steve comes in. Hello, hello.
Hello?
Hello. His works.
It's working.
How about mine? Hello?
Two's working.
Hello?
Oop, number 3's working. Number 1. Number
What
1.
when is
Number
mine?
1. There we go. There we go. We can hear it.
When is my segment? Not first.
The whole thing.
Oh, you just.
We're going to start with you.
All right,
Ready?
First game's at what, 10 a.m., 10:30?
All right, looks like we're live.
started today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
Started
Montana
today.
Tap House.
Yeah, there were some 16 seats. I never count those games, but
Don't interrupt me, please. Tonight we have a very special guest. Johnny Vegas is with us. Johnny Joseph is here. If you're wondering what's going on, it's a podcast in a bar. It's kind of common these days, we find, I guess. I want to thank our sponsors, Tamarack Brewing. Thank you for the hat trick.
thank you, Tamarack.
Thank you,
Nice.
Tamarack. Vegas, Johnny's a little too hungover. He's got to have lemonade today. Spent his time at Buffalo Wild Wings last night. Hey, do you want some fish and chips? You sure? Okay, maybe when it's done. Anyway, welcome to Beer Buds and the Big Sky Podcast. Tonight we got various topics we're going to go over, but we brought in Johnny Vegas here to talk about sports bet a little bit because it's very popular in Montana. We got the Sweet 16 coming up, and you know
Sweet 16?
the what? Or the Sweet 16, the tournament. Well, that's coming up.
I was like, well, that is coming up. And
I had
March
to-
Madness.
March Madness. That's a better way to say it. Yeah, I had to take some marijuana for my glaucoma,
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I'm a
Okay.
little out there right now, a little bit. Anyway, Johnny, I've talked to you with gambling quite a bit, and you tell me not to play my own machines a lot. I don't like that because I like to play. But anyway, any tips, tricks, sports betting? What mistakes do people make? Like, what's the biggest mistake? I mean, to me, it's like going with your heart because I fucking go like I bet on the Badgers every tournament, and you know.
Yeah, sports betting is you got to put your heart away.
Yeah, I get it.
I
Closer
go
to
with
the mic.
warm-ups, the colors.
Oh, the colors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can't bet with your heart. When
No.
you sports gamble.
You just can't. You
No.
can't. I mean, that's one thing I've never, like, I would never bet on the Packers. You know, I'm a big Packers fan. I'm like, nope. But my friend Robert owns the Palace.
Right.
He would vote against the Packers. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, if we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
emotional
right.
hedging.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
is what
smart.
called,
That's smart.
yeah.
But, I mean, is that the biggest mistake, or what other mistakes do people make?
Well, the other mistakes people make is, you got to watch the point spread. The point
Yeah.
spread means a lot in sports gambling.
It does.
If the line moves, that means there's a lot of money on that side. If the line doesn't move, then it's pretty even bet. So you don't want to look for the bets that are just stay the same, the line a lot.
Those are safer, the ones that stay the
Yes,
same?
because it's kind of a 50-50 deal.
Because they change right up to the start of the game, right?
Correct. And money moves them. Money moves the lines.
Money moves the lines. kind of like it moves the stock market.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you're like Ryan, you said you have how many brackets?
At least 12. I mean, at least. Well, because I do one for me, and then I do one for each kid, because they're,
Right.
babies.
Yeah.
So then, and then if I'm in 3 or 4 pools, that's 12 brackets right there, and
Wow.
it's all just a mishmash of Duke winning, Auburn winning, St. John's.
Right.
Usually, and John can probably speak on this, but it's usually a 1 or a 2 seed that wins almost every year.
Pretty much.
90% of the time, it's one of the top 5 teams.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
you remember a couple years ago there was a crackdown in Whitefish in Montana for the March Madness, and I don't know because it wasn't quite up with state law. I don't really remember, but they had big ones at the bars downtown.
Right.
And for some reason, the state came and said you can't do it. And I don't remember. I don't know the legalities behind it or anything. But the one year I took second at the Northern and the Bulldog, I made some money.
I bet.
Like a lot of money. And what I did, it's crazy. So and it was one year where Wisconsin went a lot further. I did my heart. My heart got me second place. So I'll fill
They
2.
1 seed?
Right.
Now is this? They were. Yeah, I think they. No, they were like a 2 or a 3. No, it was the year of Frank Kaminsky.
They were
Frank
a
the
1
Tank.
seed, I
Oh,
think.
they were a 1
Yeah.
seed, but people didn't have them going. I think, and I did.
So
but
that was a sleeper. Kind of a
wa-
sleeper team.
It was, and normally them and like a lot of Big Ten teams just kind of fail. It seems a lot.
I remember
but
that year.
I'll-
Kentucky was undefeated, and they beat
Yeah,
Kentucky.
they beat
And then they
Kentucky.
lost to Duke in the
They
title
lost to
game.
Duke in the
I
title
remember
game.
that. Yeah.
I will forever hate. I've already hated Duke anyway.
Come
Sometimes
on,
I'll
Duke, these kids, I mean, they just want to give them a leg up,
yeah.
These underprivileged student
They're
athletes
very
at Duke
underprivileged,
University.
especially the lacrosse team. They had a hard time finding dates, apparently.
Yeah,
I don't know if people remember that. So I will fill out 2 brackets. One, I will circle every high seed and just submit it. Why not? And then I'll take the other one and go with my heart.
Right. That's the way to do it.
And normally the one where I fill out every favored seed goes the furthest, but never wins because there's always that Cinderella team. Who's your Cinderella team this year? What 16 seed is going to do it?
Yeah, who do you have, John?
any?
Who are your
I
locks?
like McNeese State.
The
McNeese
Mustangs.
State.
Yeah.
McNeese State.
I should write this stuff down.
Yeah. I think they play.
Oh, it's on, we're recording it. I can look it up again.
I think they play Clemson.
They do
right?
play Clemson.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do, and I like Colorado State. They look like a
Really, the
strong team
Rams?
from the WAC. Yeah.
They play basketball there.
Yeah.
And they play
Yeah,
Memphis.
They're looking tough. Yeah.
Smells bad.
Yeah.
Well, they play Memphis. Memphis is always pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, but Colorado State's pretty good this year.
They're really good.
Yep.
What's their seed?
They're 12?
They're 12.
So they're going up against a 4,
5.
a 5
seed.
in Memphis.
Yep.
Colorado. You think Colorado State might be Memphis?
I
Okay.
think Colorado, last I
think they
checked,
might-
they were
they-
favored.
No, Memphis is favored.
Okay.
Yeah, Memphis is favored.
Memphis
Well,
is
that's
favored.
exactly what John was talking about because I checked it, 2 days ago, and I think Colorado State was favored by a point or 2, and you can see how quickly those lines will move.
Exactly.
The money comes
Right,
in and
right.
goes, well, if I can get a number 5 Memphis with plus 2 points, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
And then eventually
yeah,
the sports books see all this money
Right.
and they switch the lines.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
of
some
course.
those, we got to watch those lines because, sometimes they're moved to move more money on one end, and it's really the winner is still Colorado
So
State.
how is that?
And
That
what
doesn't seem like it'd be
money.
legal to watch the money. But it's actually it doesn't matter. It's the public that's putting the money in, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Now you could have huge billionaire sports bettors that there are. Could
Which there
move.
are.
Yep,
which
there are.
a couple people could move
Sharks.
a couple points.
Right. Right.
Yep.
That doesn't seem fair, but same in the stock market.
Yeah.
One thing, real quick, little side topic here in the stock market. I see a lot of media on the left bragging about this stock market going down. Oh,
Sure.
they're happy. They're
I
so
know.
happy to see this fail.
I know.
But, the way I look at it, if I'm an oligarch and I'm hanging out with President Trump like all the oligarchs are, I would, after he got elected, all those stocks shot way the fuck up, big time. And now they've all lost 20 to 40, 50%. But I'm pretty sure when they reached that high, all the guys in the know sold. And now they're waiting for it to get as low as they know how it'll go,
Right.
and then buy back. And then the stock market will have a surge.
Nancy Pelosi cashed out very high on Tesla.
That's Nancy Pelosi, yes.
Yeah.
I had an argument with a person before, a discussion about politics and politicians. And
You? No.
yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But she said, or this guy, we were talking, I go, listen, man, I'm not going to sit here and let you tell me one's better than the other when McConnell and Pelosi are the two taking the most money out of the pharmaceutical industries.
Right.
And they're the two bosses.
Right.
You know, and I further explained to him, I go, tell me how many countries in the world you can advertise for prescription pills.
I think
on the
it's
air.
2.
2. Us in Australia.
Yep.
Us in America Junior.
Yeah.
Why aren't we taking them over? Anyway.
We got 4 years, pal.
Yeah, we got some time. We got time. So with the March Madness and the money, like, I notice on our gambling, we have a kiosk here to do sports
Correct.
bet.
Yeah, Montana's legal.
And you can bet during games even and
Yes,
stuff.
live betting.
Yep.
Live betting.
Now today, there's so many ways to bet.
Dude, it's confusing. It's
Live.
very confusing.
Yeah.
In game, halftime, first quarter,
Who scores
who
first?
scores
Oh, yeah.
First penalty.
first
Yep.
basket.
Yep.
So they have now. There's no limit now with sports gaming. You can have.
There's no what?
There's no limit with sports gambling.
No limit.
You know, this next 2 weeks will take in probably $5 billion in sports wagering
This weekend will be $5 billion.
through the next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Wow. Holy
And that's
smokes.
really,
big business.
Vegas is probably 4, but now you got to realize that there's other states that are legal.
Well,
so you got to add
like
it's probably
45
more.
of them, I think, with DraftKings
Right.
and those things.
Right.
Now, they don't allow
DraftKings won't
DraftKings in Montana still.
No.
No,
None
they
of
don't.
them.
No.
Which, that pisses me off.
don't.
You know, it does. I mean, I think we should be able to do that. It is a free country, except here in Montana.
And I
Right.
don't think you can bet the ponies on the sports bet machine.
Oh,
There's
really?
no horses on
Yeah.
the machines.
No.
Not
Oh,
in this
why?
state.
Why not?
Well, so when I bet on like the Kentucky Derby, I use the Twin Spires app.
Right.
Like they have their own like horse racing app in there.
And you can do that?
Yep, it's a fairly powerful lobby.
Wait a second.
I use it once a year.
In the
you
state
know,
of
for the
Montana, or do
Kentucky
you
Derby.
use an IP address from another
Nope,
state?
it's state of Montana. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
So they don't allow DraftKings, but we can bet on horses online,
Yes.
but not football.
Yeah, on the Twin Spires app.
Jesus Christ.
Now they used to be able to bet horses south of Kalispell at Scotty's Bar.
Right.
Remember that?
Oh yeah.
I do
Yeah.
remember that.
Scotty's had it for a long time.
Did they change the state law or something?
No, it just got to be a pain in the butt. You know, it's a lot, and it's there's a lot of work that goes
Wow.
into it.
So you work for Century Gaming. Are you familiar with the bill in Montana now to raise the minimum bet to $4?
Correct. I am,
Is it
yeah.
going anywhere? I heard it. They don't think it's going to pass.
I don't know. It's still in the hands of the decision makers.
Are they going to up the max win from 800?
Yeah, to $11.99, so you don't have to fill out
$11.99.
your tax form thing.
Okay.
Which, again, dumb. I'm sorry. You know what? If you win that money, fill out the form. I mean, I've done it a ton of times. It's not that big of a deal.
Right. It just takes forever.
The one thing for me, a person like me, is if they do raise that limit to 4 and lay out the payout, I've got to more than double the cash I have in this bar on hand to pay
Yeah.
those bets, you
Yes,
know?
you do.
And I talked to Johnny last week. Our sports bet machine has been full of cash the last 2 weeks, even before basketball, you know? And
Well, before the conference tournaments,
yes, it's like even before them. And I'm like, what the fuck are people betting on, you know?
Anything and everything.
Anything and everything.
NBA, UFC.
Well, our resident gun dealer here said that people bet on ping pong because the
Oh,
matches
God, yes.
and that's like
Yes,
a
God,
crack
yes.
for a gambling
and there
addict.
is, and there's so many things that
Ping pong.
But there's so many things people can bet on now on these machines, these kiosks.
European
Vegas,
soccer.
You know, yeah. There's
Really?
croquet. There's Turkish soccer. There's
I don't even know what croquet is.
everything. You know, there's stuff going on. all the time.
Worldwide sports.
Correct.
Yes.
You can bet on something going on in Dubai in
Yes.
America.
Yes.
Yep.
100%.
Wow. Can you guys believe that?
Highlight.
Yes.
you know.
Highlight.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was
That's
a
big
drink.
Gambling.
That's a sport.
Big
Wow.
gambling
So
sport.
I heard they were going to raise the hand pay limit in Vegas, or they've been talking about
The
it. 'Cause
what?
The hand pay limit in Vegas, because it's $1,200.
yes. I'm for that.
The number I heard was 5,400, but this was all just
Oh.
stuff I was reading. I don't think
You know
any
anything
of that
about
is
that, Johnny?
anything of that is
The
set in
hand
stone.
pay, like you talking slots, or
Yeah.
I don't know what what they're proposing on that.
Yeah.
Huh. Because it does kind of suck. Well, I don't, it's weird.
You
I've
know, in
cashed-
sports betting, you can win $1 million there. There was, a famous guy, Billy Walters.
I can win $1 million?
Yes.
At the sports, if
I
you
want
bet
to.
sports game. There's a guy named Billy Walters, the most famous sports gambler that ever lived. He's known. He's written books. He's amazing. you know, he would move the lines all over Vegas. He had guys working for him.
Working for him, betting,
Correct.
putting
That
money
would go
into
everywhere.
it.
Yeah.
And did people know that? That's
It's
quasi-legal.
in his book.
It's quasi-legal. Like
Yeah.
Vegas would frown upon it. Like
They
I got a
did.
friend that's a professional
They did.
gambler, and
Right.
you know he's a card counter, and he was very naive when he started.
He's right here.
Yep, no, different one. Nope,
Yeah.
different guy.
No, not me.
David Younghans, good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was gambling, playing blackjack. He graduated Dartmouth, top of his class in mathematics. Very smart guy. He's like, I can count cards. It's easy. Trained himself, whatever. Started just raking in money, real money. Until one day at Caesar's Palace, two very large men came up behind him and said, Mr. Younghans, come with us. No, leave your chips.
Yeah.
Right.
And they scared the shit out of him.
I bet.
And
I've seen Casino.
So yeah. So that does exist. Like people.
So this guy that I'm talking about, Billy Walters, he's
Yeah, Billy Walters, and I've heard
an
that
amazing
name.
book.
Yeah.
And you know he was a professional gambler, but the feds and Nevada always wanted to catch him for illegal
cut him off.
bookmaking.
Yeah.
But he was never an illegal bookmaker. He was just a sharp gambler.
Yeah.
Wow.
An extremely sharp sports gambler.
Really?
He's in the Hall of Fame for sports.
Well, it's funny. So my friend that's the professional gambler too, once he got kicked out of all these casinos he can't play, he went to sports bet.
Right.
He's even written books about it.
Right.
He's written a lot of gambling books. But became very successful at that, and he's the biggest fucking nerd I've ever met. He's a great guy, but he's super nerdy. Imagine you
Yeah,
go to
they are.
Dartmouth,
Right.
They are.
and, you know, yeah, they all are.
Yep.
I've met a lot of
MIT guys.
Yep.
you know,
Yes.
Same thing.
I've met a lot of professional gamblers over the years. I spent a lot of time in Vegas, you know, and they're all very eclectic
Yep.
and fucking weird, you know, like just weird, like Elon Musk-ish, I'd say, you
Yeah.
know, like I like Mike Myers when
Without
he
the
plays
white
Elon Musk on
supremacy.
Saturday Night Live. Huh?
Without the white supremacy, or does that
What?
Elon Musk like?
Oh no, not as far as the white supremacy
Okay.
stuff. No,
All right, got
no,
it.
as the quirky kind
Just
of
the
nerdy
mathematics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yep, exactly. So when you place a sports bet, and you know the game's going on, I think the rush of even somebody spending $5.
Yeah.
Watching that game becomes like magnified. It's so much fun. Last year was the first year I sports betted for this NCAA, the March Madness. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I watched, I'm going to be honest, I'm probably not going to do a whole lot the next 4 days except watch basketball.
Sure.
'Cause I'm going to put $10 in every game. You know, why not? You know, like you got 32 games going on, $320.
Fun.
Shit. You know,
fun.
$10 on each game, you know, you might. I mean, I'll probably lose $320. I'm not really
You know, it
lucky.
changes everybody's attitude, right? When you have
Yeah.
5 to 5,000 in it. 5,000, of course, you're a little different, but
A little bit.
You know, $5, a gal.
That's like Zinke money, Sheehy money.
We'll sit at your bar, right, and have 5 beers and watch the game.
I'm making the money. Well, and that's why I did it. You know, we get 3% of the bet, win or lose, as the bar for having the kiosk.
Okay.
It used to be 6%, which I was like, damn, I want some of that. So when I started doing it, the law changed. I had to lobby my city council. I had to do a lot of work to get my gambling machines here because they were outlawed for a while, you know. And I am getting them, and they don't make a whole lot of money, right, Johnny?
Well, no, but that's, you know.
He does my
it's
count every
not
week.
a straight
Okay.
casino. You
Yeah,
know what
no,
I mean?
you're
So
right.
They do
You're-
okay. They're
No,
fine for
they do
what
okay.
They are.
You know, if they're making money, put it that way, and that's something and it's an added thing for a customer to
Kinda
do.
historic Montana.
It
and your-
is.
And your place
The tourists love it.
is a neat spot.
Yeah.
And the machines fit in.
And we got
Those
the best
5.
wings in the valley, even though you go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
You even tell me, but you still go there.
So anyhow,
Corporate
a lot
whore.
of these lines, the main place that sets a lot of lines now
Yeah.
in the sports industry is Circa Sports.
Circa. Circa's huge.
Yes.
Circa's
They
great.
bust on
Yeah.
the scene. Do you know, I told you, I got VI tickets to the Super Bowl party there.
Yes,
I
you
was
told
like,
me that.
no
Yeah.
fucking way.
Yeah.
Sponsor
I went
the
there
show,
the night
Circa.
before. No way. I am way too old to deal with that stuff. I mean,
right,
it
right.
was insane there.
It's crazy.
You know, let's talk about Vegas, man. I tell this people,
I'm going in May.
I would rather go back 20 years, 15 years when Fremont Street was riddled with crime and was sketchy as hell.
Right.
I had so much more fun there. I had $6 prime ribs.
It's busy
I could
now.
get on any table I wanted and no super high minimums and shit like that. I could have a lot of fun on Fremont Street. Dude, the last 10 years,
Yeah.
it's over. It doesn't matter what time of day or night you go there. It's very busy. The only tables you can get on are Circa because they have a lot of tables, but you're looking at $25 minimums after 6, 7 o'clock every night. I mean, it is nuts.
Downtown Las Vegas changed after really.
When they covered these things and built the Circa, right? Or,
Yeah, you know, Benny Binion was the initiator. His family.
And Binion's was the best. That was a fucking $5 prime rib.
The best. And, you know, and the Golden Nugget was great when it first opened. Steve Wynn's done a great
Still
job.
love the Nugget.
The thing is, they put that cover on top, and it just changed the whole unique.
It just changed everything. I mean, there's way less crime than there used to be there.
Right.
It's all right, you know. But like I said, I'd rather go back to the dingy days because Fremont was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, I think I'm not much. I mean, I'm like a lot of other people. I stay in the suburbs, and I go to the outlying casinos, the stations, and I have a lot more fun. It's just, it's just so crazy and intense in Vegas anymore.
But you go with your dogs and you
we
drive.
go. Yeah, we golf. We just kind of use Vegas as Phoenix.
Right.
People will say to me like, "How can you go spend 2 weeks in Vegas?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Dude,
It's 85 degrees.
Phoenix without the fucking casinos, and it's not as hot." They're like, "Oh, and the golf is cheaper." If you want cheaper golf in Phoenix, you're playing on a sand course, like where the fairway's a fucking sand trap.
Yeah.
That's not
And there's
fun.
a lot more to do than just gamble.
There's a lot to do in Vegas. A lot to do. You know, and going to the Strip or downtown anymore, it just doesn't have the. It just, the feeling's gone. It's gone.
You know, even the El Cortez, when I first started going,
Oh,
I want to
yeah.
lay down. You
Love
know,
the El Cortez.
Yeah, it used to be, you know, you could go down there and it was $2 minimums on roulette.
Yep.
And now it's $15 minimums.
Yes.
I was there. I don't know, November.
You were there.
And it's $15 minimums now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
And
But the El Cortez now is they've got a remake.
huge facelift.
Huge facelift is coming.
Oh yeah,
there.
big time.
I didn't even recognize it. I was looking at pictures and going, "Where the hell is this?"
Do you know you can take a water slide through sharks at the Golden Nugget?
I've done
And
that.
FYI
I've done it.
about the El Cortez, they have a great barbershop. That's where I get my hair cut.
Oh, really?
That's where you get your
I
haircut.
love the
Old
Cortez,
school
man.
barbershop.
I
Apparently,
love-
you're going to go there next week
I
and get a
am,
cut.
yeah.
Good,
Gotta
good.
get
You're
my
looking a little
I
shaggy.
love the Cortez.
All right,
Cortez.
let's get on to our next topic. We've been talking a lot about the tariffs, obviously, and these things that are happening nationwide. And we've got a little video of Ryan Zinke. It's, oh, no. There he goes. Oh, no, there's TJ. Crazy TJ's here in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you need a gun, he's got plenty for sale.
Right.
And other things.
Yeah.
Kevin, why don't you play this Zinke video? I know a lot of people haven't seen this, but it's something worth watching. If you can play it, I don't know.
Well, on the trade war, there's unintended consequences. I'm from Montana. Montana has 86% of our trade with Canada.
Is that a lot?
Almost sole source. And most of that trade, quite frankly, is crude oil coming in for our refineries. So it's going to be uneven. Montana,
That's a way of saying
because
bad.
of our vulnerability, is going to get hit probably more than anyone else, certainly on the upper tier, because our trade is Canada. And Montana has a long tradition with Canada. The first Special Forces service was from Canada. I'm a former Navy SEAL. So our relationship between Montana and Alberta has been long.
And he says Alberta,
I'm
switches it
hoping
to Alberta.
The tariffs are short-lived because it will have uneven consequences across our country.
I mean, so you're seeing a lot of Republicans now really walking back on these strategies and like softly preparing us for some shit that's going to happen. My assumption is, because Zinke's not the only one. These guys aren't having town halls because they know they're going to get skewered. And when they're having them, they're getting skewered. Like I said, this economic shit that's happening right now, I'm not going to blame it on Trump one bit. Just like I wouldn't have blamed it on Biden in his first 2 terms or first 2 months or Bush or any of these guys. But this is new territory. Mm-hmm. The amount of executive orders and all these tariffs, and then they're on, then they're off. Now we have to rehire everybody we fired. USAID has to be refunded. Look how much more money that's going to cost us now than they thought they were going to save us. This is a fucking deal.
But isn't the tariff a bargaining tool? Isn't that the whole point?
That's what it's supposed to be.
Where they're like,
sure,
look,
that's
we're
what
gonna
it is, yeah.
we're gonna put tariffs on you, and they go, we're gonna put tariffs on you, and they go, all right, well, let's come to the
Now
table.
let's bargain.
And-
Yes.
Okay.
So what's happened is, okay, Canada, we're putting a tariff on you. Canada's like, okay, well, here we go. We're doing it. Okay, we're going to take our tariffs off. but theirs are still on. What? You know, you got until April.
Trade war, yeah.
It's second. I was going to do the first, but people might think it's not funny, so we're going to do it the second. We wanted the 2nd of April, just so people don't think it's a joke. It's weird stuff, you know what I mean? It's weird, and like when you listen to Zinke, and during that Zinke statement, he talked about Canada, Canada, Canada. Then when he talks about being close friends with Alberta, you know, then he leaves the rest of liberal-ass Canada out. And when it comes to making them our 51st state, and this is what I'd like our listeners and most people to kind of pay attention to. If Canada became our 51st state, they would have 57 electoral votes. A Republican would probably never win again.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you know, and that's a weird deal that they're pushing something that would be. And then bring in Greenland. They are very liberal.
Red,
there.
white, and blue land.
Yes, red, white, and blue land.
Yeah.
Blue land, I love it.
Well, I think Ed's wings are from Canada. That's why they're so expensive.
Oh, I'm getting a
That's
tariff on them. Would you
fat.
stop talking about
Yeah.
They're the best wings in the world.
They
have
are
to be expensive.
very good. I think they are the best.
And they
around.
have to be expensive. It sucks.
But they don't give
cost-
them away here at the Tap
So
House,
today is
folks.
Wednesday. Is Wing Wednesday. We do them for $1, and we have for
That's a
God,
great deal.
8 years or something, and they're up to like 78 cents a piece. So I'm definitely not making money on Wednesdays.
not.
It's supposed to make so people drink more beer.
Sure.
But people are healthier these days. They're drinking less beer, but they're buying 30 fucking wings for themselves and having a goddamn Diet Coke. And it's like, what do I do? You know, like I don't know. Well, anyway, that we'll blame that on the tariffs.
The
I think
wing
that's
tariffs has hit the Tap House.
Wing tariff. Let me see this thing. I can't see it. So, what do you know about our new U.S. attorney,
Nothing.
Almy? Wasn't
know
he
anything about-
involved in Montana politics before?
I don't know.
Oh man, I thought. See. Anyway, we will have. Jesse Lazovich will be on our show or zooming in. He's our last
The former U.S. attorney.
former U.S. attorney, and I think he's a very talented politician and a really smart guy. He comes from a long line of hardworking Montanans, and I'm excited to talk to him at some point. But I can only imagine the new U.S. attorney, and this is something, you guys, that I think we should pay attention to. These new U.S. attorneys getting rid of all the checks and balances, getting only yes men. In Trump's last term, in his first 2 months, how many people quit in his first 2 months?
I
A
don't know.
lot.
Yeah.
This time, none.
Orban fired.
Or been fired. Right. Yep. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. And I'm
But,
saying
you
you're
know,
fired.
Just to play devil's advocate a little bit, the U.S. attorney is traditionally a political position, and then when the political
True.
winds
He gets
shift,
appointed by a
when the
politician.
political winds shift, they kind of say, okay, we're not going after, we're not focusing on child sex cases more. We're focusing more on
Really?
immigration or drug cases, things like that.
Right.
That's how or gun cases. That's how things tend to shift. So I don't know anything about this guy.
No, and I mean, and you're right, about the attorney. They're all appointed and stuff. And I'm surprised Jesse lasted as long as he did, but it takes a long time to get to all these attorneys,
About 4 years, right?
But I think getting rid of the inspectors general, that one is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal because that means there's no checks and balances on this. So, I mean, now a judge ordered again, and, they want to get rid of and impeach all these judges. Mm-hmm. Reordered the USAA to come back.
Right.
They're saying you have to rehire all these people you fired. So, we're talking just because I'm thinking, doesn't Trump have constitutional lawyers at his side? He doesn't give a fuck, does he?
I don't think he does.
It's just like the Montana Republican Party right now. They pass bills that are unconstitutional every session, and then we have a lot of court cases.
Yeah.
So these fiscally conservative people that want to save us money are spending hundreds of millions on lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense, and we're paying for that. And and later in the show, when we bring Mike up here, we'll talk about them doing absolutely nothing about our property taxes again.
Yeah.
This is nuts. And they didn't do it last time, and they won by a bigger majority, Republicans, than they did the last time. But we picked up more seats in the House and the Senate, redistricting. I mean, what will that say in a year and a half when we got to vote again, for these people in the House? I don't know. But, this property tax thing it's kind of out of hand.
It's going to hurt.
It is. I don't even know how we got the property tax from talking about inspectors general. But in Montana, I think you can find the same strategy as I think a lot of red states, much like blue states do it when they have a right and they have a president and they can go woke or whatever they want and piss off everybody else. Here, we're getting rid of our checks and balances too. We're trying to keep bill drafts private. Like the Republican Party in Montana wants to keep, and they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Unless they change the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And you know how bad they want to change this. I've been impressed by Corey Swanson.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
Dude, I didn't think he would be because of him defending that private landowner that bought a bunch of private land around public land to try to close it off.
I mean, you're talking to a public defender here. Just because you defend someone doesn't mean you sign on to what they're doing.
So
Yeah.
you don't do all the drugs that you're defending your clients on?
No, they're usually gone. Yeah. They're gone by the time I get there.
Yeah, when you get into them, the drugs have been taken by the cops.
Right, yeah. They're in some evidence locker at the sheriff's office.
Can you get into those?
People try to break in more than you think.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. They go, oh, I know my buddy got arrested, and he's got a bunch of meth in his glove box. The sheriff's office seized it. It's in their yard. I'm going to break into the yard and get into the glove box, and then they get caught for burglary, and they go to jail.
Because there's cameras everywhere.
Right, yes.
I mean, that's the thing. You know, there are a lot of criminals out there, smart ones.
They don't catch the smart ones. That's what we say.
Exactly. They don't catch the smart ones.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I
we
don't
say.
think it'd be easy to catch the smart ones. But the
No.
dumb ones,
Right.
they don't care. Like, since we started doing this podcast, I had to get the TikTok app.
Okay.
I've never had that. And I didn't, I thought it was for 12-year-old girls.
I thought it was banned.
No,
It's
Trump
back?
saved it.
Okay. All right.
You know the top 10 things that conservatives must admit we did a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
That got flagged and the TikTok won't post it.
Well, who bought the TikTok?
They're saying Oracle might be buying it now. Nobody's bought it yet.
Okay.
I guess it's a temporary injunction thing about it, like it's something, But like it's, that you see, I'm loving it because there's so many dumb criminals out there that we've always seen in the videos, but TikTok's got a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I'm kind of blown away and mildly addicted to it now. Like my girlfriend's like, "You're going down the hole." I'm like, "Son of a bitch, I am,"
It's very easy to do. I started watching.
You got the TikTok?
These YouTube shorts.
Oh, YouTube, same kind of thing. The short, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
brother,
mean,
it's
There's crazy
You
people
got
out
4
there.
hours to kill?
It's an
Yeah,
addiction.
why not? Yeah.
It is. Oh, it really is. There's a video, Kevin and I think you were in on the thread, where a teacher was talking about trying to teach children nowadays. It's
Right.
almost impossible because they're addicted to the social media,
Yeah, they're always on
to
their
their
phones.
So they go into school, they have to put their phones away. Within 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like most people that are addicted to a substance or anything,
Yeah.
they start getting edgy.
Yes.
And they get
Right,
mean and
right.
violent and crazy. And that is every classroom in
Yeah.
America today.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I think I talked about this last week. A good friend of mine's a teacher, and he said, all this stuff that's going on with schools, they think I'm trying to turn all my students gay. He's like, it's really, I spend my whole day getting them off their goddamn phones.
Right. You're not trying to turn them gay. Okay, that's another thing our beloved president likes to say. You go to school, you come back 4 days later, little Jenny's got a dick. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Like, this doesn't happen,
Yeah.
but the followers believe it happens. And I would like people, our listeners, and most people to really think about, before they act and before they go nuts on social media or in public or whatever, just keep in mind, they're still lying to you,
Sure.
Like, it's funny, when Trump becomes president, for Republicans, all of a sudden they trust government 100%.
Right.
And I'm looking at it from the outside saying,
Make the FBI great again.
or just kind of turn a blind eye to what your friends are doing.
I get it. Yeah.
It's fucking whack.
I get it.
And with all that social media, if you ever notice, what you watch is what they pump you.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
of course. It's crazy. Like, so.
What's up, Dave?
I follow.
Anyway, he didn't.
I
hear me.
follow. I follow Don Jr. Follow Trump. Follow. Who's that? Charlie Rich. Bannon. I follow these guys.
Charlie Kirk.
Perk. Is it Perk?
Kirk.
Oh, Kirk. Kirk. That's right. Rich.
But I do
That's a
follow
country singer?
a wide range of
So do I.
people
So
on
do
the
I.
left and right. I like
So
to see what everyone's talking
My
about.
algorithm's got to be very confused with
Right.
me.
They probably
you know?
think you're schizophrenic.
And I think I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, I must
He
be.
is.
Yeah.
I think borderline.
It's super
The
borderline.
meds make him feel funny. He doesn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Kate. Kate should join the show. She's smart-ish. You remember John? Remember the guy I used to golf with all the time, Josh Joseph?
I do.
That's his brother.
I know.
Oh, you did know that. Okay.
Yeah.
We
All
just
right.
talked
all right.
about
First
that
thing I
earlier.
said was Whitefish to Cabo. I remember that license plate.
Right.
Green
That's
truck,
right.
yeah, Whitefish to
Yeah.
Cabo.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Because he always gave us good tips in the bag.
Yep.
Yeah.
We used to golf a lot together, man.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right, moving on along. We're asking Denmark for eggs now.
Oh, it's the year of the egg.
Dude. So we're trying to buy or take over Greenland, telling Denmark we want it, making them look bad like we do with everybody else, and now we're secretly asking them for eggs.
So this is like the toilet paper issue in COVID.
Right.
Yes.
People are hoarding them now, yeah.
Hoarding. Yeah, maybe people are
Don't
hoarding
eggs go bad?
Well,
No.
they
No?
do. It just takes a long time.
Not really? Okay.
I've eaten some old-ass eggs.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of old-ass food. I mean,
Well,
whatever.
yeah.
I mean, how else do you
stick
get a
king.
great immune system like I do?
Exactly,
Pick your
yeah.
nose, chew your fingernails, eat old food, you're going to live forever. I'm serious.
That's true.
But my father's still alive. He
Well,
showers
but it's-
once
okay,
a week.
So they don't have bird flu in Denmark? Is that the issue? 'Cause
Oh.
that's how I understand the egg crisis right now. Is there's this
Oh.
avian
'Cause
flu.
they don't have the avian
Farmers
flu.
are having to kill a bunch of chickens, so the egg production goes down, prices go up.
Correct.
So they must have different regulations in Denmark, and we're saying we want your. And is this like a lease situation? We're like we're going to pay you, or we just
Yeah.
like,
I don't know. I don't
know
know.
either.
I don't know, but also there's more eggs going across the border than fentanyl recently.
Damn
I don't know
right.
how much I believe that shit.
Yeah.
I
Right,
don't.
I mean-
But I got to be honest, if you're a big corporation that you need a lot of eggs to make your food to send
Right.
to, maybe you would be
I
like,
would imagine.
hey, let's get a
I
couple
would
semi-trucks
imagine
from Mexico.
Denny's egg budget.
Mexico doesn't
big.
have a governing body to make sure their birds don't have I don't know how safe those eggs are anyway.
Right.
It's not like they know there's a border between America and Mexico.
Yeah, they don't
That
care.
flu just kind of goes and does what
Yeah.
it wants. So I thought this was funny in news the other day. A Minnesota politician wants to add Trump derangement syndrome to the list of mental illnesses.
did see that. Yep.
And that is fucked. It's childish. It's unbelievable that they're wasting time. But at least he got caught trying to solicit sex from a 16-year-old girl.
Did see that.
That was so. This is one thing that I think people
Every
don't
accusation is an admission, isn't it?
dude. It's a Larry Craig thing. We got a Larry Craig thing going on.
Oh,
So,
oh, Larry. Is
and
Larry
this is
still
one thing
alive?
I would ask our audience, I'd ask my friends, my family, anybody out there, just stop with this shit. You know what? There's bad people that are going to do bad shit. Don't bring politics into it. Okay, the guy's a Republican, and he wanted to have sex with a 16-year-old girl. I mean, Johnny wants to do that every day. It's not to make him a criminal.
He's never been caught.
Never been caught.
Come from.
Yeah.
Just, why not? But you just, everybody's going to make these mistakes or be criminals, whatever it is. But the way we jump on these things and lambaste these people, just like this is it, it's like,
Crazy.
man, let's not. I don't think it's worth worrying about. You're going to have these problems. Both parties have it, but you see Democrats and Republicans on the extreme sides defending their own to the hilt. You know what I mean? And not talking
That's what
about
they're
the
there
bad
for,
thing.
yeah.
That, it's like I think if we could get over that and say, all right, let's just, for some reason we accept it when our children make mistakes. We accept it when our friends make mistakes.
Yeah.
And politicians are put in this higher place, I guess, but they're going to make mistakes. They're going to do dumb things. Let's not just say that every single Republican wants to have sex with a 16-year-old girl now, because that's what Democrats are going to say. And Republicans say the same thing about Democrats
Yeah.
when, everybody wants to take a whiz with my 12-year-old daughter. Unfucking true. Stop.
Well,
Just
to your-
stop.
to your
I
point,
don't think it's
Ed,
hard to stop.
To your point, one of the things I find so disgusting is anytime there's a school shooting, it
Right.
feels like there's an imaginary, starting line, and everyone, Republicans and Democrats, line up at the starting line.
They do.
and they
They're
wait
getting their arguments ready.
and they go, "Oh, the shooter was posting conservative things on media." Boom, and the gun goes off, and the Democrats go, "Yeah, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, bad." Or they go, "Oh, the shooter was trans," and then the Republicans go, "Ha ha, told you," and they go take off
Yes.
running, and it's just like it's so tired.
The
and it's
trans
the same,
shooter in Texas.
It's the same goddamn thing every time.
Yeah, people are fucked up.
Meanwhile, you've got dead kids, and it's
Exactly, which is the important thing. And then you've got other people like, what's his name? The guy that said Sandy Hook was fake. Alex something.
Jones.
We have the documents. And what really pisses me off about Republican leadership, especially our fucking president, condemn this fucking prick. Condemn him.
Oh, he's on board now. Alex
Dude,
Jones.
of course he is. Of course he is. He's an operative for them.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon was on Gavin Newsom's show. Have you been listening to Gavin Newsom's podcast?
I have not listened to.
Okay, so I listened to the Charlie Kirk.
This is Gavin Newsom is the name of the show?
I listened to Charlie Kirk. Then I listened to the Bannon one. And I'm like, I get it. And I think if Democrats want to win, they have to seem more sane.
Right.
And Gavin's doing as good a job as he can. But, and he has to because he's a Californian, so he seems as very woke and impossible person to win.
He's the governor
but dude,
of
he's
California.
slick as fuck. He's going to win. Trust me. That guy will probably
for re-election?
win.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
win.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he'll win for president. I'm positive he'll be
He's
president.
going to run for president?
Oh, of
Oh,
course
boy.
he is. You know, why did he debate Ron DeSantis last year on Fox News?
Well, that's just two guys that are delusional and want to pretend they're president. It's
Yeah.
it's as close as they're going to get to the goddamn White House.
Like Tim
It's
Walz.
Let him. It's like, my kid pretending he's a dinosaur. Let them have their fun and whatever.
Let them have their fun. But you know, when he's talking to Bannon, I would have stopped Bannon when he said, "We all know the 2020 election was stolen."
Yeah.
And Newsom said nothing.
Right.
He just let him keep talking. That would have been very hard for me.
Yeah.
But I think it's essential. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's essential.
I don't know what show I said it on. I think it was one of the episodes where I said the Democrats got beat so bad in 2024 that I'm starting to think maybe they did steal it in 2020. What the hell happened there?
Yeah, I
That
don't
is
know.
crazy.
I know. Yeah, we're gonna let's get to the segment where we go over some of the comments we get from our friends on social
these are
media.
fun. These are good.
I think we got some like. I love this. This guy did it. He answered his own comment. Politicians won't be persuaded by words, only money. Or force.
Or force. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Wait.
So that go back.
What's his name?
Slart Ibarfast. Bartfast?
Marks.
Slart Ibartfast. Marks.
Bart Fast.
Don't know who the guy is, but I'm staying away from him. He's kind of scary. What else we got?
Look at this
Oh,
picture.
I think Mr. Bumpy Face was talking about me. Okay, Mr. Bumpy Face, I'm just going to tell you right now, face to face, I was fucking hammered that show. It lasted 3 hours long. And I apologize to Mr. Joe Peck.
Is English his
my
first
God.
language? Unfortunately, yes, it is.
Unfortunately, it is much like our president.
Right.
Tesla.
Everything computer.
Everything computer. Sean Hannity bought 3 Teslas today.
Did he?
Okay, and listen, you guys. All
Can
right,
you drive?
conservatives, I'm talking to you now. Now I'm talking to you and you alone. I know you're confused. I know times are very tough right now. I know that electric cars were never going to make it in America or ever be made here, just like Mr. Trump said 4 years ago. I know. This is a very tough time for you because now your leaders and the people you're in love with, physically or emotionally, are buying Teslas. And now you've got to buy Teslas. I know. And it makes you feel like less of a man because you don't got to smell like gas and go to a gas station or change your spark plugs.
Yeah. I do love that we turned the White House into a car lot, essentially.
You know what the best
What's
thing
it going to
about
take to get you in this Tesla today?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. There's no transmission.
That's a
See,
good thing.
that's a selling point.
Yeah.
There's no trans in transmission.
Less maintenance.
Yeah, less maintenance, no transmission. We don't want any trans. Republicans don't want the trans. So now they can go to the pivot to the electric cars. What? It's true. I mean, I'm assuming transmissions will be outlawed in Montana at some point. Anyway, okay, I love this guy. Steve Murphy, 5391. Would you please call into our show? You do have the option to chime in on Facebook or YouTube watching us and ask us a question.
We're working on getting a phone right here.
Yeah, we're going to have a phone.
And
all you
call
guys want
live,
in there is
talk
liberals.
about whatever you want.
Exactly, like this guy. And all you guys want in there is liberals, and they their ass my hole around. Jesus Christ, that guy's a genius.
That is poetic.
Steve Murphy, please call in or
Poetic.
keep commenting or something. You're fucking awesome.
So
and
what
I
does that-
have no idea
what
what
does that
John
mean?
Katz, Lord Action said that, not JFK. That was something that Riley Summers said last week about JFK.
Oh.
But I want to know who Lord Action is. Does anybody know?
Acton.
You don't know. I've never heard of Lord Action.
All right.
Or Acton, I mean.
All right, hold on.
Who's Lord Acton?
Hold on a second here.
Okay.
And they their ass my hole around?
Yes, that's
the hell
what
does that mean?
I don't know. Is that a bot or is
I
that
don't
a
know.
Well, do bots comment on this
It
shit?
might
Are
be
they
a
the
bot.
ones fucking with us or
I don't know.
I don't know what I don't understand
Anyway,
what
Steve,
their
if
ass
you
my-
call in, we will they their your ass whatever you
yes,
want with it. Whatever.
I would love to they there your ass around. I just don't or ass my hole. It's ass my hole.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. These folks are insufferable. He literally said he was going to do it all through his campaign. We're talking about Project 2025 when when Bussy was on. Project 20. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you. Where are these comments? Where are they?
Project
coming
25. It was out there. These are from our TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Okay.
And of course, we all know Project 2025 was out there. We're not stupid. But President Trump kept saying he never heard of it, doesn't know anything about it. It's never going to happen. It's not a thing. It's completely happening now. And these people knew it was going to happen. This is what I'm saying. The followers knew that 2025 was going to happen. Trump knew that. And then Democrats think it's a genius idea to pounce on it and call them out, which we're calling them out because it is kind of stupid because our president did say he never heard of it when it was obvious he did hear about it, you know? It's called Project 2025, sir. This is what people voted for. They just didn't think it would affect them.
Dr.
He
Manhattan.
literally said he was gutting the government. Yep. And Project 25 said that was the plan. Like, you know what? That's probably Callahan. Look at that. Houston Astros fucking there. Wonder that. You think that's Callahan?
Oh, could be.
Could be. User 602-632-51384833.
That's a bot.
It is. It's a bot. You got to think it's a bot. Well, we're not there yet. Anyway, I think, I'll be honest with you guys. Our social media, our comments are very positive. They really are for the most part, especially yours, Ryan. Thank you for commenting on our own show. It helps.
You're outing me.
Yeah. But, the negative ones, this is what bugs me. Much like media, much like anything that's negative out there, it's trash. It's pure trash. Whether it's a bot or not, a lot of times these are people, very uneducated people. I get it. But the classless stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, where I think my opinion is current administration and our current politicians in power kind of lend, they make it easier for this shit to happen. Do they not?
I guess.
I mean, I guess.
Everyone wants to be Trump.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't. I mean, whatever. I feel like I'm my own person. I have never worshipped anybody. I really haven't. I've I like myself a lot, but not enough to worship me. But as it comes to anybody else, no way. I got my own life to live. I got my own decisions to make.
Yeah.
I'm not putting John Bon Jovi on a fucking poster above my bed.
Right.
I'm not going to worship some dude that's in a TV show. I'm not going to worship, was it Michael Douglas in West Wing or somebody? Like some popular actor?
West Wing? No, not Michael Douglas.
No. Oh, he was in a different movie like that.
He was in The American President.
That's what I was thinking of.
You're thinking of Martin Sheen.
But people, the worship, and the worship is fucking weird. It just is. And I think people got to maybe pay attention to that start worshiping yourself a little bit more. Stop wasting time on the social media.
I think the closest the Democrats, I remember getting swept up in Obama fever in 2008 and being like, hope and change and all that.
Right, hope and change.
Following along and being like, all right, so the Treasury Secretary's just another guy from Goldman Sachs. That's not good.
Yep.
And then it was like, oh, he's bombing people in Yemen. That's not great.
Why not?
And
well,
then they
and every person's got to throw that around a little bit.
And then they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize, and I was like, all right.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you remember, why? Because he was a black guy. That's why I think it was a DEI. It was a DEI Nobel Prize.
A DEI
It
Nobel
was.
Prize.
It was. When we asked Brad Abel to comment on President Obama's legacy, he said he was black. There was no legacy.
Yeah. Brad Abel said he's
got
not going to
erased.
say anything bad because Michelle, that guy's scary.
That's really scary.
Yeah.
Yes. Big time. And oh God, there was something. I had another Brad one. God, it just escaped my mind. Brain fart. Anyway, all right, let's move along to a situation happening in Oklahoma. And Montana's on our way to being Idaho and Oklahoma. It is.
Okay.
The redder we get, the more bizarre we get.
Right.
Another thing, most of my conservative friends are not this fucking out there. But they want to add Trump derangement. No, that was the Minnesota guy. Oklahoma, they want to add in their social studies standards. They want to talk about and make it part of their curriculum is the discrepancies in the 2020 election.
Right.
They want to teach our children how the election was stolen in 2020. Again, we had Bussy on here. Democrats aren't that fucking smart.
No.
They can't organize anything. Right. But here, somehow, they stole that 2020 election. I just.
If they're so evil and they're so sneaky, then why do they always fucking lose?
And why are they pussies? Like, why they kind of suck? Like, who is electric in the Democratic Party right now?
Little Pete Bootplug, or what's his name?
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, he's not electric. Boring as fuck.
Gavin,
AOC,
maybe? AOC.
she's hot, but that's it. Like,
not a deep
So
bench.
is Sarah Palin. I mean,
Not a deep bench.
not a
on the
deep
left.
bench at all. I think they're fucking screwed, and and the Republicans know it. They're just taking that to the bank. Like in Montana, we have nothing. We really don't. I mean,
Don't worry.
I
We run Monica Tranel 3 or 4 more times, and she's going to win.
She might get into within 1 or 2%. Yeah, poor Monica, man. That's tough, All right, real quick before we get to bring Mike Joke back up here for Mike's Minute and talk politics, we want to talk about real quick the executive order that Trump just signed to dismantle 7 federal agencies, including on media, libraries, and homelessness.
Okay.
Why? Okay. We're talking about going to fucking Mars in 2 years to mine minerals.
No, we're not. Yeah.
No, we're not. Yeah. But we're going to invest the money. We're going to give Elon Musk the money to
not
try.
happening, but.
And their excuse is to mine minerals on asteroids and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds cheap.
Yeah.
That sounds very cheap to take a $7 billion rocket to go mine an asteroid and bring it back.
We tried that. We tried that, and then Schwarzenegger was trying to turn on the air, and it didn't
I thought it
work.
was Bruce Willis.
No, it was Schwartz and Total Recall. Is what I'm
Total
going
Recall.
with.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Total Recall went to Mars. That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
Release the air, Cohagen.
Dude, to get rid of all these things they're getting rid of. And again, a court will probably overturn this and make it come back.
Maybe.
Like, this is what's happening over and over, and it's costing us more and more money. People know it, and that is what's creating havoc, I think, in American economy, consumer confidence, and the stock market. It's not just this. It's not just that. It's a flurry of shit we got coming our way. We're getting hit once an hour. There's some kind of headline coming out of the Trump administration.
So speaking of Doge and Elon and Mars, are we getting stimulus checks from Doge?
They're not going to be $5,000.
Yeah, are they going to give us those? What's
I was going to
the deal
say,
with
because
that?
speaking of Vegas,
I
will do my American duty, and I will go to Vegas and blow whatever check
I just heard
they give me.
I heard $1,700 now.
That'll do.
That was the last thing. I guess.
Fine.
Yeah, that's
5,000
a few good
sounds
hands.
better.
I just got look. I need one. All I need is one good shoe.
I think they
got
might
one
end
good
up
shoe.
they might lose money off this.
Yeah. But
Right? They might lose money off this. Anyway, because hey, did Quinnell text you? Kevin, did Quinnell text you? Not at all.
we actually heard from Steve. He's at the podcast at Black Star.
That's right. He went to
That
Black
son
Star.
of a bitch.
Oh, he said he's
Black Star.
halfway
Yeah.
finished at 8 o'clock.
Oh,
Never
is there
mind.
one there now?
No, that's
All right. We're going to bring
the only place with more expensive
Oh,
wings than the Tap
wait,
House.
Kevin. I know you don't have a
And a hamburger.
Yeah.
Fed delivers big inflation surprise even as it holds rates steady. Yeah, we know. Kevin, that video that you sent me that I couldn't open up, though, that was something I wanted to touch on.
What was it, Kevin?
What? The one I couldn't open. Because I won't pay 99 cents to read the Brosman Chronicle.
Podcast is running like a top, ladies and gentlemen.
12 people showed up at Zinke. It wasn't a town hall. I thought it was just like a meeting.
Where was it?
In Bozeman?
Oh.
Insdale, really? Okay, again, conservatives out there, please hold your politicians accountable. Do it. Because I'll tell you what, Democrats I know hold their. I went to the Democratic town hall last week. 140 people there. When I got there, I saw Fern, our senator. I go, Dave, what the fuck? I thought there'd be 20 people here. He goes, me too, Ed. But there's 140 people here. And then I loved it because Kevin goes, what about House Bill 525? What the hell? And Dave said he's extending an olive branch to the GOP. Not over this, bro. We don't want chaplains in our schools. There are some of us that still believe church and state should be separate.
525, the chaplain bill?
Yeah, yep, to let them be school counselors.
Okay.
What? I mean, child fondlers?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they got a bad rap. I don't want them around the kids. I don't. Anyway, let's bring Mike up here now. Mike Jopek.
All right, Mike, come on up
Because we
here.
don't have Quinnell. Mr. Jopek, we like to call him.
Ed O'Neill.
Drinking pure Kettle One,
Yep.
no ice.
He's a madman.
He's the man, as we like to call him, Ed O'Neill up
Yeah,
here.
Ed O'Neill lookalike. Yeah.
We're going to talk about, and Mike, you live here. Is Mike's mic on? You didn't hear it. Is the switch on?
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything.
No, it's not on.
Hey, Kevin, let's get.
Come on, plug me in now.
Mike is looking. No, that's off. Now it's on. Come on, let's get that thing working, Paris.
It says it's on. It's not on.
Can you turn it up?
It's that volume switch there.
He's trying.
Right.
He's trying. Kevin's trying. Nothing's working? What the hell?
What's
Oh, there it goes. There you go. You got it, Mike.
gotta go.
Okay, so
Yeah. So
we don't have our city council member here tonight because he's busy doing a city council meeting for free.
He's working.
County.
He's working. Is that
He's working. He's at some committee meeting, whatever. But anyway, Mike, you know about the viaduct?
Ryan Henry.
Have you been following this at all?
I remember the viaduct from like 88 or 89 when they put that in.
Okay, so
I still see it now.
this is did you watch city council meeting last week? Probably
I did not. Is it the viaduct meeting?
I was one of 6 people that watched it.
Right. That's almost 4 times the amount of people that watch this podcast.
Dude, we're up to 8 or 9. Anyway, we've got some pictures up here of what it's going to look like. But anyway, I it should look better, I guess. I mean, it's part of the master plan.
What color do you want?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. We don't. I think you just paint the
Green and
grain,
gold?
the grain. Yeah, you paint the chain link green.
Sure.
The whole thing looks a lot better.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Paint the locks too. Who cares? Anyway,
Ooh, look
this is
at
what it's going to be.
that.
12-foot wide multi-use path, 16-foot drive lane, 16-foot drive.
I mean, they can have some protest up there now.
Right. Yeah.
Real, you're right. That's that's probably why these woke-ass liberals and whitefish are doing it. For more protesting. Yep. Look at this picture. Now, can you imagine driving by that? God, that's beautiful. I'd plant some marijuana bushes in there. I probably will someday. It'll look beautiful.
Nothing but the best for whitefish.
Nothing but the
Really,
best.
yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was really funny. I wish Steve was here because I want to give Frank Sweeney the MVP of the meeting. He goes, listen, you guys, we keep kicking this can down the road. We revisit it. It gets more expensive every time.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this since God was a small boy.
When they tore the viaduct down in 88 or 89.
Yeah, how long? And, well, to be honest, they need another one. We know that.
Yeah.
I would rather see them not do this with this one.
Leave this as a footbridge.
Dude. Or emergency, whatever.
Put Farmers Market up there. Build another one.
Where are they going to put the other one?
Oop. Just down the street. Just past the rail station. Like,
Oh, gotcha.
Just, what is it, Colorado? What?
Yeah, Texas or Colorado. Yeah.
Texas, 2nd. They want to do it on 2nd.
What did Quinnell
What do you mean
filibuster this?
second?
What happened?
What crossing? Oh, you mean by Armory?
Over by Edgewood there? By the dog park?
There's like a county commissioner lives over there. I think.
Okay.
All right. Well, we could have more protests there,
so
too.
what happened with this? Did they pass it?
They passed it. So they did
Quinnell-
pass it. Rebecca Norton was not there. She actually missed a meeting.
Her filibuster failed.
So the meeting actually lasted like a half hour.
It was shorter than this podcast.
Thanks, Rebecca. Way shorter. Way shorter. Again,
the viaduct.
this is the viaduct. This is the
Down
new
here,
right
south
here.
of
Yep. So they want to make it beautiful to connect the north part
I mean,
of.
it really is going to be nice when they're done.
It will. It'll look
Right.
beautiful. And I think they end up saying it was going to be like $900-some thousand.
Oh, that's cheap.
That is cheap.
Well,
What
but
can you do for less than $1 million these
I
days?
have no. You can't buy a house.
No, not
No.
Whitefish.
But they're not making any structural improvements. So to me, that seemed weird.
So
But they
just
have
paint?
to make structural improvements to widen it. I was
Such as paint and landscaping?
Well, no, they're widening. They're making it wider somehow. See, that's why I wanted Steve to be here because I didn't know. He was pretty against it. But I'll tell you what, and a lot of people give Whitefish a lot
Why
of
was
shit.
he against it? He's not here to defend himself. Fuck him.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck
Yeah.
him. Fuck you, Quinnell. But him and the mayor, Fury, they all made really good arguments, to be honest.
Sure.
Like, mayor's like, can we just piece this together? And I'm thinking to myself, you are not general contractors, you guys. You cannot do this. And Sweeney was thinking that. And Fury was like he was the voice of clarity, I guess, when he said, Frank's right. We've been kicking this down the road forever. It's got to be done. It's in our master plan. The money's there.
What are they using? Resort money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so they have $800,000 for it.
All right, make the tourists pay for it.
Now it's up to 900 and some, and they're like, that's the lowest bid they got. They only got 2 bids: Knife River and his place out of Tacoma. Knife River was like 1.4 million, and somebody on the council like, well, why would it be so different? And then I don't remember who the other person was like, and it was probably Workman. I think it was Craig Workman. He goes, because they're just gouging us.
Right.
That's all. They just gave, they don't need the work. And like the mayor's like, or Quinnell's like, why can't we get anybody local to do it, or Giuseppe, whatever? Like, because they're all super busy, and 6th Street's going to a bid next month.
Okay.
So I mean, and they want local contractors, but guys, idiots like Paul Gilman will be out there. I don't know if you know who this guy is.
Is that the impact fees guy?
Yeah, he lives in fucking Scottsdale. We're gonna have Angie Jacobs on our show in a couple of weeks.
All right, great.
And we're gonna
Angie.
skewer Paul.
Those
Love
white
Angie.
sidewalks are nice. I mean, they got those down 7th. You know, they got.
They
those
are
in
nice.
Carroll,
Yeah.
Very nice.
Really nice.
But you know, when it's all said and done, it's something that, you know what, just do it. But you know, the rest of the valley is going to have, just a heyday with Whitefish once again. But the truth is what people I think need to realize.
Their own viaduct.
Right.
Exactly. Nobody cares here in Whitefish that you're mad that Whitefish isn't Whitefish anymore. Nowhere is where they were anymore. Go to goddamn Jacksonville, bro. I loved going to that place.
Right.
I haven't been there in 10 years. I'll never go back. Places get ruined with money. Sorry. But all you people that vote for all these elites and the money, and you love the money, you think Elon Musk being involved is going to make you money. No, it's going to ruin places like Whitefish. Sorry, it is. And you've got to have money to be here now. That's the way life works. That's capitalism.
That's change.
Nothing you can do about it. It's change.
Whitefish isn't what it was 20 years ago. Neither are you.
Neither
Shut
are you.
up.
You know what? In
Exactly.
Columbia Falls, you better shut up
Zip
because
it.
you're Whitefish Junior.
Right.
You're very expensive and you're very beautiful and you're a gateway to fucking Glacier Park.
Right.
It's probably going to be worth more money than Whitefish at
Now,
some point.
myself, I prefer the threat of being stabbed in Evergreen.
Me too. It's a lovely area. You know,
Evergreen's okay. I like Evergreen.
I like Evergreen too.
They just got
I
some
kid.
sidewalks,
Yeah.
Oh, Tony's sidewalk.
kid.
Tony's sidewalk, man.
They sure did.
Sidewalks
Yeah.
and trees. And that guy got wasted by Lucas Schubert. Crazy. And Lucas has been trying to pass bills. He ain't getting anywhere. He's not really getting anywhere. But anyway, we brought you guys up to speed on the viaduct, and that's what's going on. And, I think we're seeing most of our followers aren't living in Whitefish. They're all over Montana and even the country now. Like, it's something where, we put this out there, and we have, but we're obligated to talk about city stuff for sure.
Well, you got to up it up. I mean, you got to talk New York Times if you're talking to Whitefish.
Right.
Well-
you got to get this meathead conversation out of the way.
Yeah.
Yes. Before we start talking with the legislators or what's going on in legislation right now, Mike, I want you to explain to our audience, because I don't think people understand the etiquette when it comes down to testifying in Helena,
Right.
writing letters and stuff. You were a legislator. I've been trying to wrangle in the marijuana industry and saying, stop texting people's personal phones. You're scaring them. And that's invasive, What's your opinion on testifying and, like, how do you testify? What's the right etiquette to do it? Like, what in your opinion?
I think it's
Well, one of the things you got to remember, these are just
there's
people.
like a 5-second delay.
They're just people.
People who you're talking to, and so if you treat them as something else, you're not going to be effective.
Except for Matt Regier. I don't think he's regular. He's not normal. Just saying.
Yeah.
More of a
But,
robot.
if you treat them like people and you treat them with respect, they do listen. And we kind of think that those guys are up there and they're kind of dealing with it. My experience was up there. You're kind of sequestered up there with a bunch of other lawmakers and a bunch of lobbyists, and you never really hear from the folks back home. And,
Right, right.
That's a big mistake.
So the
And
lobbyists.
I've testified on several tax bills myself. Just because I have some knowledge and I think it's part of the thing that I should do because I was kind of involved in that game.
Yeah.
But I think the first thing you have to do is, figure out the issues that you feel passionate about. Don't testify on everything.
No.
No way.
No.
Pick 2 or 3 issues that you care about and figure out what the vehicles are, what the bill numbers are, and, who's working the bills and get a hold of them.
Yeah.
You can go online to legmt.gov. legmt.gov.
And it's all right there.
And it's all right there.
And you
it
should get
looks
3 minutes
super-
of speech before they get the hook.
Well, if Hertz gave me 2 minutes when I
Yeah,
was testifying
yeah.
on property taxes, it's like, you're back, 2 minutes for
Yeah.
Dude, hurts.
But one of the things that really helps is the in-person testimony. In person, if you can go to Helena,
Yeah.
biggest impact right there. You're going to drive 3 hours.
You're showing
4
you
hours
care.
from here. You're going to get 2 minutes of testimony. You're going to drive 4 hours back, but it's going to make an impression. The next thing I think that you have to remember is you can testify remotely. That's how I testify.
But you have to do it like 24 hours ahead, right, to sign up? I think that's fucked.
Well,
You got to
it's
give
just
them
the way it
24
is.
hours
It could
notice.
be,
Yeah, but you have to log in and like sign up like a day ahead of time, and they change the times and the dates of hearings all the time. They do that too.
that stuff definitely happens, but you know, I've had good luck every time I've offered remote testimony. They've been really respectful.
So it works good for you. Okay.
It's worked well for me. You get 2 minutes, and so you have to be right on point. And don't say what people say. Make it personal for yourself. Tell people what you do. You know, I'm a farmer. I've been farming the same land for 35 years. This is important to me because of this, this, and this. Keep it short. Stop.
You know what? I think that's the key. I mean, it sucks because, like, I've been emailing Matt Regier and plenty of other Republicans. I've gotten zero response from them.
Oh, they won't respond.
And that's their MO. Yeah. And I want the conservatives again out there. And, you know, I'm not anti-conservative. I'm not a woke liberal either. And I'm a person that, I mean, I've been in business here 25 fucking years. You know, it's like I'm a regular person. But to the conservatives, take note that your representatives are not answering their constituents' calls. They are not. They're refusing to talk to them, refusing to have town halls. They don't care about you at all. So, yes, you can look at Dave Fern and say, wow, you know, what a nerd, you know. He calls you back. He talks to you.
Yeah, Dave will call you back. And, you know, you talked about texting a little bit. If you're going to text, be really respectful. Don't over-text.
No, dude, and that's what people do.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
And if you're sending a text, put your name on it. Don't just send these digits to somebody.
And I'll tell people, I go, how much do you like getting texts all day and stuff? You know, of meaningless shit.
Yeah.
Nobody does. But I think, you know, in the marijuana crowd, they think that their issue to them is so important, which I get. It's very important to them.
Sure.
But it is not important to the people they're texting at all. And they've got more important things to worry about, except property tax. That's something they're not worrying about.
No.
Because they're not doing anything, right, Mike? I mean,
no, let's keep going here. Email works really effective.
Email, I think, is the best.
And email is simple for those
Less
guys.
invasive.
They all have mt.gov email addresses. It's all public information. The thing about email is don't send out cut and paste email. Again, make it personal.
Yes, genuine.
Make it genuine. Make it personal. Keep it short. Don't just do it once.
Okay, I like that because
you know, you're going to have to send these emails out 3 or 4 or 5 times, and that's okay as long as you're respectful, as long as you keep it short, and as long as you're not expecting anything, because these bills are going to take 30 or 40 or 50 days in some instances, and they're changing.
And they're changing. They're getting
bills.
amendments. Things are going to be different. And, you know, I kind of try to tell the marijuana people that if you're just copying and pasting, they're reading the first 3 words, and they're moving by it because it's the same thing. You know,
Well, the
explain who
marijuana
you are.
people have a tough time focusing and
What?
what?
Are we talking about airplanes?
Yeah.
But also calling. Calling is okay. There's nothing wrong with calling and leaving a voice message and saying, hey, it's Mike Chopek. I'm concerned about House Bill 231. I don't think you guys are going far enough. If you want to give me a call back, call me at this number. Leave it at that.
Okay.
You know.
And, again, I've done that plenty, and I don't get a lot of response. And this is true. And I know there's people out there that don't want to believe it, but I challenge them to say, go ahead. As a Republican, go ahead and email Matt Regier and see if he gets back to you.
Yeah.
He won't. I just know that. It doesn't matter who you...
One of the things that I think is really effective is like if you're contacting your legislator.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
Your particular district's legislator, tell them, look,
You're
I'm
right.
a constituent of yours. I live in Whitefish, Debo. Look, this matters to me. Dave, this matters to me.
And maybe Matt doesn't get back to me because I'm not in his district, but I am a 25-year business owner in the Flathead Valley, which he does represent. I think it would be fair for him to get back at me. I do. I really think that, I mean, but he won't. And like I said, most of them won't.
No,
they
the
don't
guy's-
want to
the
be
guy's
engaged.
Busy, but he also has a lot of staffers.
Of course,
Yeah,
somebody
and those
could.
Are the guys that are writing the letters back to you.
Well, he's busy defending himself now, too, because he's under ethics investigation.
You know, that he does kind of have
Yeah.
those troubles right now, does he?
I know. I'm going to take a quick break, but we're going to let Mike keep
But,
talking
I mean,
about
really,
it. And,
I mean,
Ryan, you take over.
investigating
Okay, gotcha.
the current
Nipples.
speaker.
Give me some fish going.
Investigating the current speaker, investigating the past speaker of
Right.
the House, or the president of the Senate.
Yeah.
You know, that really is a wild card when I look in this legislative session on how that plays out.
Yes.
I mean, they might give Ellsworth the boot. Who knows? I mean, they investigated him again.
That would be shocking. If they give him the boot, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Yeah.
Well, they didn't even give Zoe the boot, I guess, you know.
Right.
Representative Zephyr. I
Yeah.
mean, they just kind of banned him off the floor for a
Yeah.
while and said, look, you hang out with the lobbyist and don't
Yeah.
get too close to us.
All right, what else you got for us, Mike? Senate Bill 222?
You know, Senate Bill 222, I want to talk about just a little bit because Senate Bill 222 is this bill by Greg Hertz, and it's not getting a lot of traction. Look, I printed it out for you. It's a super simple bill.
He's out of Polson?
Yep, he's
Yep.
down there out of Polson, and it repeals the 2-year cooling off period the citizens of Montana enacted back in, what was it, 2008, 2007, 2006 or something like that?
Yeah.
3/4 of Montana said, yes, you shouldn't
Yeah.
be a lawmaker and then the next day become a lobbyist or be the chief of staff and then become a lobbyist
So-
and become a chief of staff.
So, in effect, this will create just a revolving door from politicians to lobbyists and back
it's
again.
the revolving door,
Wow.
and it's made it out of the Senate.
Color me shocked.
Half the Democrats voted for it.
Wow, really?
Yeah, which really surprised me.
So why? I guess my question would be why.
I don't really know. Maybe
I suppose
they
this
didn't-
goes back to your emails and texts and calls like, hey, you
Yeah,
know.
But you know, this was Initiative 153. Montana citizens passed it. They're repealing it. Greg Hertz is the sponsor. 3/4 of Montana said yes. And so the people voting for it are all the flathead senators. You got Glim, you got Fuller, you got Nolan, you got Fern. They
Yeah.
all said do away with the 2-year cooling period.
Wow.
You know who the first guy that signed 153 to become law? It was Schweitzer.
What?
Really?
Brian
Really?
Schweitzer was the first signature to put this on the ballot signature because he could see that there was a kind of a problem with lobbyist, lawmaker kind of conversation.
Well, didn't you say there's 150 lobbyists and 150 lawmakers?
Well, yeah. I
There's
don't
more
think-
than 150.
It's 750 is what I heard.
Jesus
Holy
Christ,
cow, that's
man.
like 6-1.
I
Wow.
mean, think of the whiskey and the thick steaks you could
Oh,
get.
dude.
for that kind of-
Yeah.
Well, and you know, and I've been to
Silver
mixers.
Star, is that still open in Helena?
I've been
Yeah.
to mixers, and I've been involved in Montana politics. And one thing I really appreciate about Montana is people are very they're attainable, and you can talk to them. But when you're in that scene and you're wearing your suit and you're at, you know, Jorgensen's in Helena, it's not called that anymore. I don't even know what it's called. I keep
It's
calling
got
it.
a new name, but everybody
Yeah,
knows it.
but it's Jorgensen's.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where a lot of the Republicans and tavern associations, that's where they have their meetings and stuff. And the last one I went
They
to.
got a nice pub, no windows.
Right, exactly. Plenty of casino machines and stuff. But like when I was there for the MTA legislative meet and greet, you know, for one, Lucas Schubert shows up, and I'm like, you can't be in here. Can't. You're a little young. But he was in there. Pretty sure, you know, whatever. It is what it is. But it was mostly Republican legislators in this, you know, and they're with the Tavern Association and stuff. You know, me being me, not a super liberal person, but being pretty turned off by a lot of these guys in my conversations with them. And myself saying, you know, I find myself a pretty regular guy. You know, you got 4 businesses around here. You meet a lot of people. You talk. I got a lot of friends. And it seems like I'm a pretty normal guy for a lot of my friends.
You got
When
like dirt bikes and chainsaws. and,
Right,
you know.
all that stuff. And these guys I don't relate to. I'll be honest, I don't. It's hard. And it's in Montana. You know, you would think you'd pretty much relate to anybody because mostly anywhere I go in Montana, I'm relating no matter what their political affiliation is, we're relating. We're having fun.
Right.
Love guns, we love smoking weed, we love having IPAs, we love doing all the Montana stuff, you know? I'm sure Republicans are pissed I just said marijuana is a Montana thing. But it fucking is. In a big way. Very big.
This segment sponsored by Dire Need.
Dire
Dispensary.
Need Dispensary. $100 ounces every day.
What else you got for us, Mike?
You know, I don't know if you guys saw this ruling that came out of the Federal Appeals Court. It has to do with the corner crossing. You know, it's not a state.
No.
Yeah, oh yeah, no. It's
What? Federal appeals court?
The Federal Appeals Court, 3-panel unanimous ruling said that you can do corner crossing. Now, people that might not understand what corner crossing is.
Wait a second.
This is the checkerboard idea. We got
Without the
private
crosswalk?
Yep. And now you can cross between those two tiny little spots of public land, and it's a huge issue in Montana.
How? Why?
No,
I haven't read the opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
Oh,
thing.
no, it's a good thing, but
Yeah.
why is it a huge issue?
Well, because you know the big landowners were saying no, you can't squeeze through this point.
Is this the Huey Lewis issue? I know Huey
I don't
Lewis
think it's
down
the
in the
Huey
Bitterroot.
Lewis. He had the stream access.
He
stuff,
gets really
yeah,
upset
yeah.
about public access.
So what?
private
Well, hey, I'll be honest. Like I lived in Colorado, and there are fences across rivers in Colorado,
Yeah.
and I think that's gross. I think that's a bad thing. But Colorado was very red for a very long time.
Right.
Montana has not been until recently. I believe that we will have fences across our rivers at some point.
But we already do in some places.
Really is happening?
private property
Don't we have a
owners
high water mark and it's public property anywhere?
They still put them up, and they rip up some rafts and that kind of stuff.
True.
And it's an issue, but you do have a legal right between that low water mark and that high water
Yeah.
mark on the rivers. But the corner crossings is different because this is like forest lands. You're out there in forest land doing your elk hunting or whatever you're
Right.
doing in those woods with your four-wheeler. And you come to a point and it says no private land, but if you can get over that corner, that little corner, you can keep going.
Well, that's where Corey Swanson didn't get my vote because he defended somebody trying to protect their private property, cutting off public access to land. I thought that was completely unfair, and Jerry Lynch is the one that brought it up to me. Of course, he was running against him,
Yeah.
so maybe Jerry was lying to me. I don't know.
Doubtful.
I
but,
doubtful. Dude,
yeah.
Jerry's a good guy.
Yeah, he's
he
very smart.
deserves a place in Montana politics. I think.
sure Corey
I think
Swanson's
John
very smart
Repke.
too, yeah.
I think John Repke deserves a place in Montana politics. You know, but
I
you know,
know he's too smart.
he's too smart.
No, he really is.
And he's in the
way
wrong-
too
Shout out to Repke.
Yeah, Repke's
Dude, we
in the
should
wrong
get Repke to
county.
come on next week. Actually, we'll call Repke, get him on. And we got Angela Jacobs coming on. We got Daniel. We got an interesting guy coming on in a couple weeks. He's from England, and he's a pure capitalist. And we get in some arguments, and it's good arguments.
Really?
He's a good guy because he lived in Spain for like 10 years. He's like, Spain, you can't become a millionaire. You don't have the opportunity to be like you do in
So
America.
That's why he's in Montana.
That's why he's in Montana. Well, he lived in Dubai for 10 years after that.
Jesus,
And
how
that
old
was
is this guy?
unfettered capitalism. What?
How old is this guy? Fucking 10
40
years in Spain,
maybe?
10 years
I
in
know.
English?
Well,
Like, holy
and he's a developer. Like, I don't know a whole lot about, I mean,
What? A
real
developer
nice guy.
here? Come on.
He's the kind of guy, like, there's probably, gosh, I got a good amount, maybe 20-some friends that are pretty wealthy and very conservative, but we really have great dialogue talking.
Lance.
Yeah, he's not one of them. No.
Come on.
No,
We love
he's
Lance.
not. We need a snow melt here and another hat trick.
So the governor's slush fund's getting some action.
Okay, so
Really?
Mike, I'm glad you brought that up
I mean, this
because
is the
people
money
don't
that-
understand it, and I think we need to talk about this every single week.
Well, the governor's slush fund is the money that he's skimming off the federal dollars that
Yes.
Trump and Biden gave to Montana.
The COVID money, right?
COVID money,
COVID money.
economic recovery assistance, and
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You know, it turns out that they've been skimming that interest off of it. It was like $100 million. It's down to 88, and it's growing. You know, it's going to be $100 million again. And because the legislature didn't really decide what to do with that money, the governor says, well, nobody said what to do with the money. It's $100
I'll take
million.
it. Yeah.
And, you know, so it's getting some action right now. They just put out this
Can I
little
order some fish and chips
memo,
at
and they
the
kinda started
talk show
outlining
here?
where some of that money's going.
Putting in your fish and chips order right
You know,
here. Yeah.
and we think it's a little bit of money, but look at this.
Holy cow.
Fiscal note. That's look. They got $1.2
Billion
billion
dollars.
worth of federal money in House Bill 4. That's where the slush fund is kind of going, and so the Republicans and the Democrats, you know, Cafaro and Falk, been asking just tons of questions on this.
I think
Cafaro-
Mary Cafaro is probably the best legislator we've ever had, honestly.
she
Outside
really
of you,
is.
Mike.
Oh yeah, she can get some stuff done.
Dude, she is amazing.
Yeah.
She is, you know Mary, have you ever met Mary?
I don't think so.
God, she's, man, hot grandma. That's all I got to say. You know, remember Carl, gosh, you remember Carl? You do, Carl. He was about your age. It's his aunt anyway.
Okay.
His mother died years back.
Yeah.
It was Mary's sister.
No, she's bright. She's been at it for a while, and she's bright. She's in appropriations with Debo Powers.
Such an advocate.
Yeah, and they're doing good stuff.
She's somebody that people respect there.
Yeah, but she's paying attention to this. She's kind of figured out that, look, the governor needs legislative authority to keep spending this money. And so here's
But does he care about that?
Well, he cares when people pay attention. And so here's Terry Falk. He's putting in this amendment, and it basically says, you can't spend that money anymore. They're crossing out any authority that he thought he had.
Is that amendment gonna get through though?
Well, it's introduced in House Appropriations right now.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna be in Helena, I think, next week. I gotta testify on. I'm doing my own amendment on a bill.
Yeah, but look they got $1.2 billion of federal money left, and they're pumping it into different agencies to do whatever they want. The governor's slush fund is a little bit different because he doesn't have that legislative authority. He's seeking it in House.
Right, he's seeking
it.
it.
He doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But he's been spending the money on mailers, on
So
recruitment.
for what though? Mailers for what?
Oh yeah, they bought like a $12 million or a $20 million building.
Is it mailers? Is it mailers for like,
Yeah.
like his reelection campaign or?
No, there were those property tax mailers. Remember?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember those.
We have until
Property
April
tax
15th to
mailings.
apply for that. Right now, is that right for our property tax rebate?
It was March 1st.
That is more money I will take to Vegas.
Oh fuck! I
and
never did
blow
it.
Yeah.
I never did it.
yeah.
I've always done it. I'm not getting my money back.
It's a nice little.
That's another shitty thing that they do, Mike, and you would agree. Give us a date. You know exactly who the fuck we are. You know our address. We pay taxes to you.
Yep.
Mail the check.
Yeah.
Just mail it.
They know who you are. They know.
So the
They
money.
know you pay income taxes.
So
they know
I-
you pay property taxes. They know you have
Exactly.
a bunch of different licenses.
It's a horse shit deal. And conservatives out there, please don't support this horse shit. You know, because people don't know. And most people don't know. They don't follow politics. They don't watch this shit. They don't even know they get a rebate. So, this is my question to you, Mike. This money that does not get claimed,
Right.
where's it go?
General fund.
Fuck. See, that's the dirty trick about it. Because you're right. If it didn't go to the general fund, if we could make a law where it didn't go to the general fund, then we wouldn't have to have people apply for it and have a date. It would automatically come to us. It would actually come off of our taxes. When we file our taxes at the end of the year, that's when this should be dealt with.
Well, you should have never sent it in. I mean, they should have just cut you off so you didn't have to send it in.
Yeah.
Well, right. You just,
You don't have to try to
Thank you,
apply
Amy.
back if you don't send it in.
well, yeah. Well, and if you don't send it in, that goes to the general fund. To me, that's kind of criminal, right? No?
So Paul Tusk got a great bill. I just love it. I think it's a great bill to make insurance companies pay for hearing aids.
Oh yeah, it was in the Beacon. I read your article.
I
yeah.
really think that's a great bill.
They don't pay it now.
No, they don't pay it now. You know,
Well,
those are like $5,000 out of pocket, unless you can go to Costco, I guess, and get one for
Right.
$1,500 or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Wow.
And
I didn't know
you
that.
and
I
so
had no idea.
I read the fiscal note and I said a quarter of Montanans need hearing aids.
Oh, I bet.
What?
Quarter of them. And you think
What?
like a quarter of lawmakers need hearing aids?
Oh, dude,
You know?
more than
I mean,
that.
that kind of explains a few things.
More than a quarter of lawmakers. They're of the older variety, I suppose, or the
Vintage.
ignorant variety.
Vintage. Yeah.
Like I got a dog that's getting old, and I'm like, I don't know if he just doesn't give a fuck or his hearing's bad.
Probably a
That
little
sounds
bit of
like a
both.
fucking Republican legislator in Montana to me. Is he
No,
getting
but
old? Is
Paul
his hearing
Tusk,
bad?
Haver, you know, good stuff. I really like this kind of legislation. You know, it helps a lot of people.
Well, you know, it's funny that we're here debating about hearing aids while President Trump signs an executive order increasing the price of insulin for people. We had the last president. Like I used to say, he undid everything that Obama did because he was black.
He has a name. It's Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe. Okay, you're right. Sleepy Joe. Now he's undoing everything Sleepy Joe did, even though it helps a lot of Americans, and most of them voted for Trump, but they're senile. I
Yeah.
guess, you count on that. Like, it's funny. I watched today I watched a video with Trump with 2 or 3 pastors, like these higher up pastors, like Osteen kind of people, people that are absolutely stealing our money or dumb people's money, put it that way. and they're blessing him, like, kind of, and like give him the power, Lord Jesus.
Right.
And you know, I don't know how you look at that and look at Trump and be like, oh, he's totally into this. No, he just raised all the insulin costs. He just raised all costs on everybody's. I mean, it's just, God, it's shitty. It's shitty. But it is what it is. It's where we live in. I accept it.
It's going to be a long 4 years for you, Ed.
A great 4 years. Because, I mean, for anybody in media, Trump is the fucking golden boy.
46 months. 46 months.
46 months. Mike knows.
Yeah.
He's got it down. Yeah, next month it'll be 45
We might have
months.
to bring out the liberals, how to deal with Trump again.
We
The
might
first
have to do
episode.
the.
Yeah.
Yes, you're
Boy.
right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The liberals' guide to President Trump.
It's the nuclear option.
Dude, the nuclear option doesn't even exist. There's nothing we can do. He's doing whatever he wants. He's telling federal judges he don't care, and nothing's happening.
So-
I mean, no, you can right there. Go ahead. We want people to see how good my fish and chips are. Please, Johnny, sit there. It's all right. JoJo,
Well,
come
and I
on
had
up.
some questions for John.
Put
before
JoJo on the
before we
camera.
leave.
Look how cute JoJo is delivering those
He
fish.
couldn't afford the wings, could he?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'll buy him the wings. Look at that fish
Home
and
equity
chips.
line of credit's pending. He's going to get some
Homemade. I
wings.
hand
Yeah.
breaded that myself. It's incredible. Let me get you some napkins.
Those do
JoJo,
look
some
very
napkins.
good.
Finest in the state.
Yeah, those do look very good. Yeah.
Finest in the state of Montana, our fish and chips right here. Fresh Alaskan cod.
Pulled it right out
Can't
of the
go wrong.
Whitefish River.
$15 only. Yeah, I
Pulled it right out of Costco an hour ago.
the Costco River.
So I testified on this property tax reappraisal bill again.
You did when?
Just yesterday, actually.
Oh, you were there yesterday, or you
No,
zoomed
I
it?
did the remote thing,
Okay, all right.
you know, and I've testified maybe 5 or 6 times on different property tax bills because I carried the reappraisal bill back in 2009 for the
Yep.
Joint Select Committee on Reappraisal. And so I have all this information in my head, and I think I should share stuff that I know something about. So I've been kind of talking about it a little bit. And, you know, it's interesting because the governor's bill, 231, carried by Lou Jones, same guy that's carrying the state budget, same guy that's carrying House Bill 4 with all that federal money in it. You know, he's kind of
He's
like,
Greg's puppy.
it seems like the governor's guy, yep. Share with appropriations, you know, definitely a powerful guy. So
Super
he's
powerful.
also carrying this property tax reappraisal bill, which is the one the governor says he's going to sign. He's not really going to sign the Democratic versions, you know.
No, of course
I get
not.
that. That's politics. But, you know, I did testify on this bill, and one of the things that I kind of brought up is that the governor's approach only mitigates half the problem. You know, we got the 23 reappraisal, which in the flathead increased valuations by 38%. Then we got the 25 reappraisal 2 years later that increased it by 31%. So we got like 69% increase there over 4 years. And they're only choosing to mitigate one of them. They're leaving the bigger portion in, which the one that spiked the taxable values for homeowners. And when the taxable values spiked for homeowners, it caused us to pick up the local corporate share. And so the homeowners are responsible when you combine the local corporate share along with the
We're
state
paying
increase,
BNSF's
it's
share.
$500 million over 2 years. It's like real money, $500 million over 2 years. It's what the Department of Revenue estimates that the number is. That's not my number. That's the
Right.
Department of Revenue's number. They've done the estimate. But, you know, they've kind of clouded all this issue with, oh, we're going to give you a homestead exemption, we're going to do this, we're going to do
Right.
that, you know, but you still got to qualify. You know, less than half of Montana homeowners actually qualify. And
No,
so
of
the other
course.
people have to apply. You got to go in front of those 23 full-time Department of Revenue folks, and you have to try to get your application in. And you're still only going to get a small portion back. You're going to get about half back. And, you know, it all kind of falls down. They're talking about all this mumbo-jumbo. There's only one number that matters, and that's 0.76. Unless they
Right.
get the tax rate
But they're-
down
and they're
to
not gonna do it.
0.76, your taxes are going up.
But, Mike,
and they're
some-
refusing to acknowledge it.
Somebody
And it's
wrote
like, yeah.
somebody wrote an article, and I thought it was you, but it wasn't. That we are. Oh, it was in the Montana Standard, I believe. That there's nothing we can do. Like, we are not going to have a property tax break out of this session. We are not going to. It's not going to happen.
Well, I wouldn't write that out yet.
Okay, so you think it might? There's hope.
I think there's always hope. And with the revenue bills, they can monkey around with it.
Right,
and
you're
you'll
right.
See amendments
So-
at the end and that kind of stuff. But the state wants this money.
Of course.
Wants your money, and they mostly want your money for two different reasons, and that's to enact an income tax cut and to also fund some other projects.
Do you remember the highlight from the last session, the highlight from an article that Montana Republicans say no to a California Prop 19 measure?
Yeah.
I mean, I was blown the fuck away, okay?
Yeah.
Because there was a legislator said that we don't need a California bill in
on the ballot again. Monforton is collecting signatures.
Good.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I've lived here a long time. I bought my first house for $50,000. My taxes were like $380 my first year.
Yeah.
25 years later, it's now almost $4,000. That's a very large increase.
It's a big jump.
Just like California went through, okay? When I argue with these conservatives, especially
Lance.
now Schubert,
Okay.
little kid from California. California is a fucking mess because it's beautiful and people want to be there, and we live in a capitalistic society. So we're going to rape everybody we can because they make you pay to live in the beauty. Montana is exactly there
Yes,
now.
a scenery
Our
tax.
crime rate has exploded. Everything has exploded here. Our homeless rate has exploded because it's an attractive place to live. So we had a Democrat lawmaker last session bring up a bill that's similar to Prop 19. It got shot down right away.
Yep.
Never made it out of committee.
Yep.
Because the Republicans lambasted it as a liberal California kind of bill. Not at all. And in California, when it happened, it was bipartisan. People agreed that if you grew up in California, you deserve to live there.
Yeah. One of the biggest excuses
Our
I hear
politicians
people
say-
talking about why not to enact something like this is they say, well, people are going to stay in their homes and they're never going to upgrade their homes.
Oh,
You
boo-hoo!
can afford to upgrade right now.
You can't afford to upgrade
Yeah,
at all.
you're telling
And
me,
then,
yeah,
and
it's
I was
true.
talking to Fern about the other day about a tax break. They're talking about whatever for homes under $1 million. I'm like, oh, that does a lot for people in Flathead and fucking Gallatin. Because my $1 million house here is a fucking $300,000 or $400,000 house in most other markets in this country.
They're targeting their property
it's
tax
a-
increases right now
it's a
onto
tax-
Montanans. Everyone's saying they're targeting out-of-staters. They're not.
They're not. They're
Because
targeting us.
Once you, if you even
They're giving breaks to
qualify-
Airbnb owners.
Qualified people, they're increasing the taxes, and they're targeting the biggest increases on places like Polson, on Lakeside,
Right.
on Creston, on Big Fork, on Whitefish, on Columbia Falls. You know, anywhere where they saw any kind of increases, and also on the fee land on Indian reservations.
Mike,
And
why?
that is a huge issue that nobody's really understands, and those are big.
Why don't they raise the fucking bed tax? Doesn't it make sense to you?
Yeah.
It makes sense to me that we are among the lowest bed tax rate in the country, okay? Our base is like 4%.
Yeah.
You go to Nevada, you go to California, you go to Idaho, it's 16% or 12 or whatever. I mean,
Well,
we
Glim's-
don't do
Glim's
that.
got a bill in there.
We got to pay for it.
Glim's got a bill. Glim.
Lynn does.
Glim.
Glim, to raise the hotel.
No, to redistribute $60 million per year from the bed tax, from the tourist tax, bed tax basically, and give it to homeowners.
Jesus Christ, that's not enough money. The tax
But it's
isn't high
$60
enough.
million bucks. You know, we're talking hundreds
Big
of
deal.
millions here.
Yeah,
He
what
wants
the
to give
fuck
us,
is
you know,
$60 million?
yeah.
Raise the bed tax. I mean, it's amazing that, you know, if you come from out of state to hunt an elk, you're going to pay 10 times as you would if you're local. I
Right.
get it. I love it. Why don't we do that with hotels? I don't understand that if we're, what?
They don't pay that much.
No, you're
It's a hell of a lot easier to get an elk tag for an out-of-stater than it is a local.
in Montana? Really? I heard they're expensive, though. No. Why do we treat tourists and Texans and Californians like gold and shit on our fucking residents?
Well,
What's
I mean,
the answer?
Rich people need entertainment too. You know,
Okay.
they do.
All right,
I mean,
Mike.
if everything's free, you got to have places to go.
Our purpose of this show is to debunk a lot of fucking fucked up shit that's out there in Montana and the country, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of elitist liberals without a doubt. There are.
Sure.
And they're horrible people. But conservatives, again, I'm asking you, I'm looking at you. Not you, guy. I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Sorry. But these people are not on your side.
No, they're
I
not.
mean, it's these people are elites. Greg Gianforte is a fucking elitist.
Well, I think he was
He
like
is
the
an
third richest
elitist.
member of Congress
Yeah.
when he was there. Or
Dude,
something like that.
Danes has got to be up there.
So how do we? Oh, he's way up there, and not born in Montana like his other people. None of them are born here, and I'm not even saying that matters.
No, neither was I.
I'm never making the argument that it matters. You know, because like when Mike Cooney ran for governor, yeah, he was born here. It was be hard to me.
Is that the guy that played the drums?
Yes.
Okay.
In the jazz band.
I thought I remembered Mike.
He should have been shooting fucking black people on his political ads. That would have got him elected.
Oh, it's like
All right,
remember
that was
Schweitzer
tough.
shooting the real ID and all
Yes.
that stuff and doing the branding iron.
Love it. I was there for the branding party. I was there for the veto branding. I thought that was excellent. I thought a governor with flair and fire like that is what Montana deserves and needs. We went from Judy Martz to Schweitzer. Awesome, you know. Then Bullock, kind of blah. You didn't see him much. Wasn't real exciting, you know. Kind of a boring guy. Then you get Gianforte. Punches a reporter. Montana fucking falls in love with the guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. You know, if we're going to make violence okay.
I mean, the little theater's good, so. I mean, people like theater.
That's true. It's very true.
Yep.
So it doesn't look like it. How was that fish and chips?
Very good.
Was
He said
great,
very,
huh?
He said very good.
How good they were.
Look,
Oh, there's
oh,
nothing left.
He licked the plate
Love
clean.
it. That's right. Montana Tap House. All of our specials are great. They are.
They are.
But what's with the chicken wings? I mean, you can't get chicken wings? I mean, did you hear
No,
the
they're
lunch lady
expensive.
who stole like millions of dollars worth of chicken wings?
I did hear about that.
Yes, I did see that come across a feed. What was it? Was
If
she
she
selling
steps
them
foot in the tap house, she will be shot on sight.
Was she selling them on the black
I
market?
think it was a while ago, but can you imagine the chicken wing parties she had
Oh.
every weekend?
Was she selling them on the black market?
Sauces? Can you
Hey,
imagine?
what was the point of that?
Oh, she just.
Yeah.
She sold them.
selling them.
She's
She's getting them for free. You know, it's
wow.
like the plot of Goodfellas.
Wow.
You know,
Well-
coming in the front door, you put it out the back. You're not paying the bill anyway.
Mike, do you got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
That's it for this week.
Yeah.
Where's John going? I had some more questions for John.
What? What do you mean? You got more? You got a question for John?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Good. We can keep this conversation going.
Yeah. Well, I remember you talking about education a little while ago about how they're rewriting textbooks. And I remember just several years ago, you know, they rewrote the education textbooks in Tennessee, and they made slaves guest workers.
Sure, yeah.
I completely remember that.
happy.
I do remember that. At what lengths will
Wild.
people go? Well, okay. Again, like the Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Putting that into a bill. Meanwhile, trying to solicit sex from a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah. It's
You should watch the documentary Waiting for Superman.
Waiting
Yep.
for Superman.
I've seen that one.
Okay. Andy Fury. I hung out with him last night.
the teachers union one, right?
No, it's about the textbooks in Texas.
Yes.
You're going to get Andy on here? He'd be good.
Andy's going to come on in a couple weeks. He will.
Oh, no
He
kidding.
actually asked to be on.
I love
was like,
Andy.
Oh, Andy, I didn't think it would interest you.
He would.
He's like, are you kidding me? I want to be on. You know, I won't be on the show. I'm like, dude. He told me to watch this movie, Wild Hogs and Siphon.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
No.
He said it's a guy from Iran that grew up in America as a citizen. Goes hog hunting with some local redneck from Arkansas.
Oh, nice.
He said it's a great story.
Super.
Telluride Film Festival kind of thing. I'm going to try to watch it
Super.
tonight. All right, what do you got for Johnny before we leave?
All right, John. So
Is this on? Hello?
yeah.
Yeah.
So as a proud degenerate gambler,
Yeah, me
do
too.
you have? So we've got arguably the biggest sports weekend of the year coming up, right? With March Madness.
Correct. We do this and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd say it rivals
Where
the
more
Super
money
Bowl.
moves.
Do you have a best bet for us? As someone who loves the Bet the Board podcast, the
Yes.
Vegas podcast,
Yes.
love it. Do you have a best bet
Come
for
on,
us?
Johnny Vegas.
Either tomorrow or Friday. Is there a game that stands out to you where you think there's value to be
I
had?
mean, Best Bet went out of business.
Yeah.
No wonder he got the gig
Georgia.
on Modern Family.
Georgia? You like
Georgia
Georgia?
beat Gonzaga.
Georgia over the Zags. You think
Yep.
straight up money line? I think they're like 6-point dogs right
yeah,
now.
I don't know what is the number.
Yeah, let me look it
Gonzaga
up.
6-point underdogs
6.5 right
in
here.
the first round.
Here we are. We got
Wow, I haven't paid much attention.
Georgia
to it. I really
6.5-point dogs against Gonzaga. You heard it here first, folks, at the Beers Buds
All right.
Big Sky podcast.
That's a value bet.
Well,
Yep.
you got Johnny. Hey, you guys, thanks a lot. Thanks,
the house
Mike.
on the Bulldogs.
Thanks, Johnny.
There you go.
Ryan.
You bet.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thanks,
Ed.
guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
John.
a
It was
lot.
fun. Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you.
We'll
as
see you next
always.
week at 7 o'clock.